Hashtag the GES crew.
What if your king or queen was into spanking and they wanted you to get involved? Would you honor their request?
Oh, you taking it to a whole nother level now. Okay. I think
this is, let's say this is your queen, right?
It's silly.
And so you're at the point where you're in love. And for you, okay, she's into spanking and she wants to get the whip and have you bent over and spank you.
You look at Raymond.
Don't play into it.
This is like
no, I think it's
about
one of those
relationship. This is real.
I think it goes back to, I mean, at the very beginning. I think our question at the very beginning, where we're talking about communication, right? I mean, these things to where we talk about arguments, we're talking about how we treat each other, we're talking about what we like, what we dislike. I mean, all that is part of it. I mean, so it's.
So I guess what I'm saying is, if you agreed with it, fine. But if you didn't agree, how would you communicate that? How would you communicate that to your partner? If you
as honestly as possible. I mean, remember we don't. I mean, I think the term that you use, not your representative, right? I mean, to be your true self about it, because you don't want those feelings to say, oh no, we'll talk about it later. Oh no, and then the other person's like, well, no, this is something I really like. I mean, it's like, we'll talk about it later, and you put it off, and then there becomes some type of level of resentment for that person, and then for you. I mean, it's everybody has to determine to what extent they feel comfortable or trusting of their partner, and which I would say is based on you, based off the individual. And so, but you have to be able to communicate that aspect. I mean, it's like if somebody's coming to you in this scenario as far as spanking, and I mean, if it's a long-term relationship, if it's a long-term relationship, then it should be something that y'all have communicated beforehand.
Right.
You know, it shouldn't be something that after 15 years, you know, all of a sudden be like, hey, look, you know, I'm really into spanking. And then it's like, hey,
because you know about it like early on.
You should, but then again, like we're just talking about, we don't start to get more mature and understand and communicate our true selves until we get older. Like,
and that's the issue.
And so, but we also have to realize that we change as we get older. As we change, what we look for, or what we looked at, or what we excited us when we were 22 versus 42 is completely different. I mean, it could be the same, but I mean, the likelihood that is completely different. So it's to have that conversation and be like, okay, look, you know, this is something I'm either willing to try or something that I'm not willing to try, you know, and then seeing where the compatibility lies at that point. Because as we start,
it sounds like a silly question, but it's really not. It's like when you're in a long-term 10, 12, 15-year relationship, it's like these things come up.
All right, well, look.
You laughing, but it's like...
No, because no, I know you. But look, you know, if you with somebody initially, like, for after a while, they're gonna start asking you or start presenting those little things like that to you. But they're not gonna just be like, oh well, you know, I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna get that kind of, you know, in the initial meet. That's why I was like, you know, if somebody tell you they like that dominatrix type stuff 10, 15 years down, they won't be in real with you from the get-go.
Exactly.
So,
my first question is going to be, is this something new? Where did this come? What brought this about? Or if if we've talked about it before, because one of the first conversations that I have when I'm meeting somebody or trying to get to know somebody, what's a deal breaker for you? What is ultimately, what's the ultimate disrespect? What is, okay, this is a no-go. It's offensive to me highly, and I can't get past that. Tell me what that is, so I won't unintentionally go there, and then I won't, you know what I'm saying? So I can be conscious of my actions, because it could be something as a lady smoking a cigar is disrespectful. You don't like that. I know a woman smoking for me, not, and you know, a lot of ladies now smoke cigars. I've never, most of my girlfriends do. I'm not against it. I've just never done it. Never even smoked a cigarette. So if that was a deal breaker for you, then those are questions that I asked in the beginning. So if we had that question and you didn't say, it's always been a fantasy of mine, or I've always wanted to dabble in it, but now you're boxing me in this corner 15 years later, because I feel like, okay, so what if I don't do it? You've expressed to me that there's a need. If I don't do it, the need's not going to disappear. So now you put in, like, so where's it going to go? Where did this come from? So, or did I tell you, maybe one day we can try it? Did I let you on? Like, so I need to know the background with it, because if it just fell out of thin air, nah, that ain't my type of hype. So I just need to know where it came from. Or if we haven't had that conversation. But if I told you in the beginning that that's a deal breaker for me, my father never spanked me. And in that, even though it's a sexual in this, I ain't with it. I'm not with it. And you're not going to, if I told you that, and then 15 years later, you bring it back up, then you violated yourself, because I told you no from the beginning. But if we didn't have that conversation, then now let's have that conversation. Tell me what about it intrigues you, educate me a little more, and then I'll let you know, because I don't know what it is. I don't know enough about it to tell you no. I've never thought about it. It's not even anything I've ever considered. Educate me on it. Let me know what it entails, how far it is go. We're gonna have some safe words. What I'm open to learning more about it is all I can tell you right now.
But you know, as we're talking about, I mean, I think it depends on the situation, right? So we're talking about long-term long-term, short-term, whatever the case may be. But the thing is that as we get older, like, let's use the same example. If, hey, all of a sudden I was younger, I ate everything, and then 10 years into it, I became a vegan, and I want to do veganism. You know, it's like, and I want my partner who's with me to do veganism. You know, it's like, there are certain things that end up happening in your life that causes change. But again, you still have to communicate that, right? So, and we're going back to that communication. And what's a deal breaker when you're 20 is not so much of a deal breaker when you're 42, or I might be so. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's, but I think it goes back to we change over the course of time, right? And we grow, whether that we become more mature or less mature, whatever the case may be. As people, as human beings, our influences over the years change.
Yeah.
And maybe we let our representative be our representative for the first 10 years, and then those last 5 years, we became more empowered in ourselves, realizing that we have a different voice, or whatever the case may be. But
I can't let that representative be in that long.
But see, that's where
in that example,
the communication.
In that example, guess what? You're important to me. You're making this change, and I will try it. It's a diet change. It can't hurt me. I'm gonna try it, and then if I'm not successful, I want you to credit me for at least having attempted. Now, the spanking, you can educate me. I'm gonna let you know. I'm willing to learn more. I can't tell you that I'm gonna let the tying up, and let me know. Educate me on how far you want to go with this thing, and I'll let you know if it's no for me. Certain things I just know, and I certain things I've always been adamant about, like that threesome. And I don't care. I felt the same way 20 as I do at 46. Nah, I don't need help. I'm not doing it. Mentally, I'm not set up for it. I'm just not. I can't do it.
Right.
Don't ask for it. That's a deal breaker for me. It can't happen. I can't honor that with you, for you. I don't want you. For me, it just don't work. So some things I haven't been swayed on. But again, if it's something that not knowledgeable enough to say yes or no, then educate me on it. Let me know what about it intrigues you, because maybe I can meet you halfway, like pluck you or something in the middle of like.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Pluck you, pull your chin or something. Let me know what it is you're looking for, and we can find a middle ground before you got to pull out this whip and paddle and all that before you know what I'm saying, and I got to stand up at work the next day and all that. Find a middle ground.
As with everything, is how it's delivered, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
how
so
it's delivered. Exactly.